Hello, Power Apps makers. This is Ahmed Saleh again. I have this quick video to show you how we work with the formula columns. This feature is still in preview in the Dataverse tables. The formula columns are the columns that display a calculated value. So we used to have a calculated value or a calculated column that we can create with very limited functions that can be used to form the value in those calculated columns. Uh, Introducing the PowerFX capabilities to create these formula columns gave us a lot of advancement in creating these formula columns to really do more kind of deep calculations and creation for different kind of values that we would like to get from the columns in one table. Remember that this feature, the formula columns, will work only in columns in the same table. So you will not be able for example, to query a column from other table, even if it's, related to the other table. So that's not going to be possible. So it has to be the columns in the same table to use these formula columns. One thing that you have to also really understand that there is certain or specific operators in the formula column that you can use. It's the plus, minus, multiplication. So these are the only operators that you can use in the formula. In addition to the equal, obviously it's not mentioned here, but you can use equal as well. The data types that can be produced on these formula columns are text, decimal numbers, yes or no, boolean, and you use true and false to generate the yes or no. So it's going to be true for the yes and false for the no, and then a date value or date time value. You can have these three data types on the formula columns. Function types, you can use the following function types in these formula columns. You can use the decimal, string, Boolean, option set, date time, user local and date time only, currency, whole number, and promoted to decimal. As for the function that you can also use, these all the function that you can actually use with your formula column. So these today in this short video, I will show you some of these functions and how we can use them, but you can play with all of them and use them as needed. But these are the formulas. These are the function that you can use in these columns when you create these formulas. Let's hop up here. So I have a testing table. I call this table a formula columns table. And I have some custom columns here. As you can see, I'm sorting, those that I use as formula columns. So you can see that when you see the FX, as you can see here, let me actually just have the zoom out to 100% right here. So if you see this FX here, you can actually tell from this FX that this is a formula column, right? And then you have, the other type of columns. So I have a column called start date fiscal year. I have a date column. I have sales order percentage. I have yes or no column. I have, and then I have other regular column where actually I'm using the other columns in, the calculation of these formulas on the other, four columns that are formula types. So if we check on the start date fiscal year, let's see here, click here and see what I have done here. So what I'm doing here, I'm actually utilizing the switch function. And if you remember, actually, the switch function is one of these function that you can use here, with the formula column. So, and this is what I'm doing here. So I'm using the switch, and then I'm using another function. It's called the year function. And basically what the year is, it will actually, extract the year from a date. So I have a full date, and then it will just give me the year out of that full date. And I'm saying here, switch the year from the start date, and if it's, this is basically using the switch. So if it's this value, then in this formula column it will be this value. It's 2020 fiscal year. If it's 2021, then it will be 2021 fiscal year. If it's 2022, then it will be 2022 fiscal year. And the format that this can be is obviously, it has to be a text. As you can see here, I have it as a text for this example. Now let's actually test one by one. So to test this first one here, so I'm gonna start, just say like test one, and then I will put a start date right here, and let's make it just the day of today, right? See what's gonna happen. So if you can see here, so this is the formula column that we were working on, right? So you can see this one was calculated, and you can now actually change the value here. Again, this is automatic calculation or representation of your formula result. So it says like it's 2022 fiscal year as we have it here. If it's 2022, if the year and the start date is in the year 2022, then the result will be fiscal year 2022 fiscal year FY as a text value, right? The other column that I have here is the date column, and let's see what is the formula here. So the formula I have here is the date add function. I'm using the date add function, and it's also one of these function that you can use here, right? So basically, I will share this link with the video, and again, it's in the documentation. You come here and you see what function might. They are very, very user friendly kind of words, so you will understand what they can do. And if you don't, you usually can just basically click on them, like date add, for example. You click here and you find like add to add to, or finds the difference in date time values and convert between local time and UTC. So right, and you will find like the syntax and everything here. So it's very, the documentation in this area is very, very well done. And you can really implement most of these functions if needed in your use cases, right? So what I have here, I have the date add, and then I use the start date, and I added one unit, and that unit is a month, right? So it's the time unit month, that's it. And then here you can select either, if you want a date only or date time. Again, the result by default is going to be a date, and that's why the format here, this drop down will change automatically after basically examine the result that will come after from this formula right here. So that's why it gave me these two options. So it's going to be date only or date and time, right? So let's now try this one and see what's happened. When I enter the start date as December 4th, 2022, what I got actually, so the date was January 4th, 2023. It's basically just added a whole month, right, to this. So let's try to, we can obviously change it right here. So if I change this to time unit, like for example years, and I will add 1 year, for example, right now, save this. Let's go back and see what's gonna happen on my formula column. Remember, it was January 4th, 2023. Let's go ahead and refresh, and then it's actually December 4th, 2023. So that will tell us something very important. If you happen that you change the formula in the future, like we have done now, that change will actually run through all the values in these formula columns. So it's not going to be something that you will do from now on and go in the future for the new records. No, this is something will actually be applied on everything. And again, this is one of these things. It's not like the business rules that only apply for the new record that are created. Here it's going to be more of a calculated column that the formula will be applied on all the data on this table. So it's not going to be something that you will just change and expect it to only be applied on the new created records. Okay, so the other formulas or the other formula column I created is a sales orders percentage. Again, I have a column here called total orders, and I have also the total sales in a fiscal year, right? And I want to get the percentage of the orders compared to the total sales, right? How many orders as a percentage of the total sales. And to do that, I will show you the formula that we use in this column here. And it's here I utilize the concatenate function, as you can see right here. And what I did, I basically used the percentage calculation mathematical function. It's just basically calculating the total divided by the total sale divided by the total order, and this is multiplied by 100. And then I'm adding the percentage sign as just to show me the value as percentage, right? And again, obviously, because I added this percentage sign, I cannot use this as a decimal anymore. I cannot use a format of this column as a decimal because I want to add this sign to the value, right? So let's go and try this one. So I just need to add these two other columns here. So I will add okay, so I think I created them. I need to hard refresh the browser here so I can get these two new columns, because I think I recently created them and I had this browser tab open already. So I'm gonna go down here. So I have the total sales in the fiscal year, and then I have the sales order percentage, and I need the total order. So I'm gonna select this one first and this one, so I just have them next to each other. So here that's what I have here, and let's just try to arrange these columns to see all of them. So if I enter here, this is the total sales. So let's say that I have total sales of I would say like 50,000. I have let's say we have 700 order, and then we can see here that I think it's still okay. So this is not calculating for some reason. So we have the total sale, and then let me see here, did I do something wrong? So this is okay, total sales. All right, so it seems like correct here. So let's just save again, and yeah, this is a number, this is a decimal. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing here, so I'm gonna just try again. Let's try here, and then say 1500. Okay, 50, and I need this is a required field, so test 2. All right, and then see this, saving, and let's get the percentage again. Okay, so I think, yeah, it's just this one for some reason it's not working. So here, let's say that so the total sales, I would say I have like 15. Okay, so it's 15,000. I have 500 sales, and let's see what is the calculation is changing. So 300%. Again, that's just changing automatically. So here, let's do like 700. I think it's just because that, yeah. So this is here. I don't know why this one is not working, to be honest. Again, it should actually go ahead and calculate everything in the data for all these previous values, right? So for some reason it's not working here. Let's create another test, and just to make sure it will work. Okay, test 3, and then I will have okay, so I will use here, let's say I will say 70,000, and then we have 20,000 order, and then see what is the percentage. Again, it's working just fine. So from this perspective right here, but this one is just the one that I really don't know why it's not working here. But it should actually roll back, as I said. Once you change the formula, like now, let's say actually I want to go ahead and change the formula of this, right? So what I will do, I will go ahead and basically switch between these two. So I will actually divide the total orders by the fiscal year total sales, and let's see if this is gonna make any difference for the previously entered data. I'm pretty sure it will actually roll back or go back all the way and update the data as expected. And maybe we just have that one row that has an issue, but we'll see right here now. So I did actually change, as you can see, I changed the equation a little bit, and now we're gonna see if that has changed. It does. Yes, it does change. But as you can see, actually, I think there's something wrong here that I don't really get it. So what happened is this one has changed now, but this one, it doesn't. Like it's just completely blank. And what I'm doing, maybe I'm just using some wrong math here, right? Okay, so I think that's what's happening. So I think I'm just using some bad math and equations. So I would say like 5,000 total sales, and I had let's say 1,000 order, right? Okay, so that's working just fine. Yes, that makes sense now. So, and here we have 70,000 oh yeah, okay, so we have 70,000 total sales, and I would have, let's say that we have 10,000 or 1,000 maybe. Yeah, let's just do a 10,000 right here, and still not taking this. Okay, so let's do and maybe because of this is actually a decimal value and this is a whole number, so that's maybe why. Let's see if we can actually go ahead and change the total orders from whole number to decimal. Let's see if you will let me. Actually, yeah, you can't change it now. And I think it's going to be the same thing for this as well. So it's decimal. So that might be a reason for this. It's one of the columns is decimal and the other one is a whole number. But you get the point, play with it and see exactly, how that work, right? The other column that I have as a formula, I have the yes or no column, right? And this is here that it's basically you use a formula to determine a true or false value. So I'm here using very simple, straightforward formula. Is if the year of the start date equal 2022, then it's true, else it's false. So if you go back here, you can see the start date here is 2022, so we'll say actually yes. Let's do here another year. Let's do 2021, and then it says actually, as you can see, no. Let's do here 2022 this time. Let's say like December 30th, and then it should change to yes, as you can see here, and so on and so forth. So that's everything about the formula columns that I would like to share with you today. Again, it's a very, very interesting, very useful feature, really. to have these formula columns. Again, you can do a lot of stuff. The documentation, it's something that you can really find very useful, and you can use it here. You have a list of all these functions that you can use, so you can really see what you need from them, and you know, basically use it as needed. I wish you found this video useful, and I will meet you in my next video. See ya.